The next line of the song goes un rire qui se perd sur sa bouche. Un rire qui se perd sur sa bouche. This one is a little bit harder to translate. Literally, it means a laugh that loses itself in one's mouth. You could imagine she's talking about the sort of laugh that comes out as a quiet giggle, like when somebody is nervous to be around somebody else. In this song, she's talking about new love and how you feel all giddy. The word rire, R-I-R-E, can be a noun or a verb. As a noun, we have un rire, which means a laugh or laughter. As a verb, rire means to laugh. The verb rire is conjugated irregularly. It goes je ris, which means I laugh or I'm laughing. Tu ris means you laugh or you're laughing. Il rit, he laughs or he's laughing. Elle rit, she laughs or she's laughing. Nous rions, we laugh or we're laughing. Vous riez, you laugh or you're laughing. Il rit, they laugh or they're laughing. The past participle of rire is ri, R-I, which means laughed. You can put the preposition de on the end of rire, and it means to laugh at. So rire de quelque chose means to laugh at something, or rire de quelqu'un, to laugh at someone. For example, il rit du danger. Il rit du danger. He laughs at danger. Ils ont ri de moi. Ils ont ri de moi. They laughed at me. Je crois qu'elle rit de nous. Je crois qu'elle rit de nous. I think she's laughing at us. Nous avons ri de son tuxedo rose. Nous avons ri de son tuxedo rose. We laughed at his pink tuxedo. Toute la classe a ri de sa blague. Toute la classe a ri de sa blague. The whole class laughed at his joke. But un rire means a laugh or laughter. Un rire qui se perd sur sa bouche. Un rire qui se perd sur sa bouche. The word qui, we now know, means that. And then the verb se perd comes from se perdre, which means to be lost, to get lost, or literally to lose oneself. For example, nous nous sommes perdus dans la montagne. Nous nous sommes perdus dans la montagne. We got lost in the mountains. The verb se perdre is a reflexive verb. If you've learnt about reflexive verbs before, you'll know that they use être as their auxiliary verb when you're conjugating into the past tense. When être is used as the auxiliary verb, the past participle has to agree with the subject of the sentence. For example, il s'est perdu means he got lost. Elle s'est perdue means she got lost. So you can see there's an extra E on the end of perdu to make it agree with the L. Ils se sont perdus, they got lost. So we have an S on the end of perdu to make it plural. Elles se sont perdues means they got lost in the feminine plural. So we have an ES on the end of perdu. Je me suis perdu means I got lost. Les voix se sont perdues dans le brouillard. Les voix se sont perdues dans le brouillard. The voices got lost in the fog. Je pense que notre invitation s'est perdue. Je pense que notre invitation s'est perdue. I think our invitation got lost. So the line is un rire qui se perd sur sa bouche, a laugh that gets lost on his mouth or on his lips. I suppose it could also mean that she is laughing and he goes to kiss her, so the laughter loses itself on his lips. The word sur means on. For example, mes clés sont sur la commode. Mes clés sont sur la commode. My keys are on the chest of drawers. Marche sur le trottoir, pas sur la route. Marche sur le trottoir, pas sur la route. Walk on the pavement, not on the road. The word bouche can be translated as mouth or lips. The word sa in sa bouche can mean his, her, or one's. It's called a possessive adjective. We saw the possessive pronouns, which meant mine, yours, ours, etc. The possessive adjectives are my, your, our, etc. There are only ever 3 possessive adjectives for each person. So the 3 words for my are mon, ma, and mes. Mon is the masculine singular word for my, ma is the feminine singular word for my, and mes is the plural word for my. The 3 words for your are ton, ta, tes. Again, ton is the masculine singular, ta is the feminine singular, and tes is the plural. The 3 words for his, her, and one's are son, sa, ses. Son is the masculine singular, sa is the feminine singular, and ses is the plural. The words for our are notre, and nos. So the masculine singular and the feminine singular are actually the same. They're both notre, and in the plural it's nos. When we had the word for ours, it was notre, le nôtre, la nôtre. This is pronounced notre, so it's an o sound rather than u sound. Notre, nos. The words for your in the plural or the formal are votre, vos. And the words for their are leur, and leur. So the plural just has an S on the end, but it's pronounced the same. The possessive adjective that you use depends on the noun it goes in front of and not the person who is speaking. For example, my house is always ma maison, because maison is a feminine noun. So whether you're a man or a woman, you would always say ma maison to mean my house. So ma voiture is my car, because car is feminine. Mon stylo means my pen, because pen is masculine in French. Mes voitures means my cars. Mes stylos means my pens in the plural. Ta voiture means your car. Ton stylo, your pen. Tes voitures, your cars. Tes stylos, your pens. Sa voiture can mean his car, her car, or one's car. So it doesn't matter who you're speaking about, you would always say sa voiture. Son stylo means his pen, her pen, or one's pen. Ses voitures means his cars, her cars, or one's cars. Ses stylos means his pens, her pens, or one's pens. Notre voiture means our car. Notre stylo means our pen. Nos voitures means our cars. Nos stylos means our pens. Votre voiture means your car. Votre stylo means your pen. Vos voitures means your cars. Vos stylos, your pens. And leur voiture means their car. Leur stylo, their pen. Leur voiture means their cars. And leur stylo, their pens. So we have des yeux qui font baisser les miens, un rire qui se perd sur sa bouche, eyes that make me drop my own, a laugh that gets lost on his lips. The next two lines are voilà le portrait sans retouche de l'homme auquel j'appartiens. Voilà le portrait sans retouche de l'homme auquel j'appartiens. The first of those lines means there is an unretouched portrait. The word voilà means there is or here is. Voilà le fromage, here's the cheese. It actually comes from the verb voir, which means to see. It has voir at the start and the word là on the end. So literally, voilà means see there. Voilà Pierre, there is Pierre. There's another word that is similar to voilà, voici. The word voilà means there is, and the word voici means here is. It has the word ici on the end, meaning here. So literally, voici means see here. Voici 5 euros. Voici 5 euros. Here is 5 euros. However, most of the time, voilà is used to mean either there is or here is, and voici isn't used as often. The two tend to be used together when you're showing two different things. For example, voici Pierre et voilà Marie. Voici Pierre et voilà Marie. Here is Pierre and there is Marie. So, voilà le portrait means here is the portrait. The word sans means without, and retouche sort of means touch-ups. So, voilà le portrait sans retouche means here is the portrait without touch-ups. The last line of this first bit of the song is de l'homme auquel j'appartiens. De l'homme auquel j'appartiens. I remember hearing this line when I first ever heard the song whilst I was at college, and something about it just made the word auquel click. The word j'appartiens means I belong, and it comes from the verb appartenir, which means to belong. The first time I heard the song many moons ago, I didn't know what appartenir meant, but I had heard a similar sounding word in a different song in a different language, and this is what helped me to understand the word auquel. If you're not learning Spanish, you won't care less about this next little nugget of information, but there is a Shakira song called Pies descalzos, sueños blancos, and the first line is perteneciste a una raza antigua. This means you belonged to an ancient race. And perteneciste comes from the verb pertenecer, which means to belong. And if you look closely, you'll see how pertenecer and appartenir have the same root. Well, in Shakira's song, she says perteneciste a una raza antigua, since the verb pertenecer always has to go with the word a in Spanish. The phrase pertenecer a means to belong to. Well, it's exactly the same with appartenir. It always has to go with the word a. The phrase appartenir à means to belong to in French, and the words appartenir and à always have to go together. But wait, is what I shouted when I worked this out. I said to myself, where is the word à in Édith Piaf's line, de l'homme auquel j'appartiens? The mystery is solved if we break down the word auquel. Auquel is the merger of à plus lequel. But what is lequel? Well, if you want to say which or what plus a noun, you use the word quel, which has 4 forms: a masculine singular, quel, spelt Q-U-E-L, a feminine singular, quelle, spelt Q-U-E-L-L-E, a masculine plural, quelle, spelt Q-U-E-L-S, and a feminine plural, quelle, spelt Q-U-E-L-L-E-S. For example, quel livre lis-tu? Quel livre lis-tu? What book are you reading? Quelle voiture est la tienne? Quelle voiture est la tienne? Which car is yours? Quels enfants viennent demain? Quels enfants viennent demain? Which children are coming tomorrow? Quelle maison aimes-tu? Quelle maison aimes-tu? What houses do you like? If you want to say the sentences without the nouns, you should really use the word lequel, which also has 4 forms. So lequel means which when it's not with a noun. Lequel, L-E-Q-U-E-L, is the masculine singular. Laquelle, L-A-Q-U-E-L-L-E, is the feminine singular. Lesquels is the masculine plural, spelt L-E-S-Q-U-E-L-S, and lesquels, spelt L-E-S-Q-U-E-L-L-E-S, is the feminine plural. For example, lequel lis-tu? Lequel lis-tu? Which one are you reading? So there's no noun after the lequel. Laquelle est la tienne? Laquelle est la tienne? Which one is yours? Lesquels viennent demain? Lesquels viennent demain? Which ones are coming tomorrow? Lesquels aimes-tu? Lesquels aimes-tu? Which ones do you like? When it's used in this way, lequel is called an interrogative pronoun. Basically, that's the posh way of saying a question word. You can also use lequel as a relative pronoun. If you look at these phrases in English, the book I'm writing in, the chair I'm sitting on, the town I'm dreaming about, they all have one thing in common. They end in a preposition. Prepositions are words like at, to, on, in, up, etc., and we commonly end sentences with them in English. Some people say we shouldn't end a sentence with a preposition in English, but most people are fine with it. In fact, even Winston Churchill said he wouldn't put up with the rule about not ending a sentence with a preposition, and to show how ridiculous it sounds to try and avoid putting prepositions on the end of sentences, he said, "That is a rule up with which I will not put," as a jokey way of avoiding saying, "That is a rule I will not put up with," which is a sentence that ends in 2 prepositions. But in French, you must never end a sentence with a preposition. Absolutely never. Jamais. Instead, you should rearrange the sentence so that the preposition doesn't appear at the end. For example, if you wanted to say, "She's the lady I spoke with," you would have to say, "She's the lady with whom I spoke." Elle est la femme avec qui j'ai parlé. Elle est la femme avec qui j'ai parlé. So, in English, we put the word with at the end. She's the lady I spoke with. But in French, you have to put the word with somewhere in the middle. So you say, she's the lady with whom I spoke. Elle est la femme avec qui j'ai parlé. If you wanted to say, this is the book I'm writing in, well, this is another sentence that ends in a preposition, this time in. So we have to rewrite the sentence so the word in isn't at the end. This is the book in which I'm writing. Ceci est le livre dans lequel j'écris. Ceci est le livre dans lequel j'écris. So the word which in this situation is lequel, dans lequel, in which. If you wanted to say, the chair she's sitting on is mine, well, you would have to say in French, the chair on which she's sitting is mine. La chaise sur laquelle elle s'assoit est la mienne. La chaise sur laquelle elle s'assoit est la mienne. And so the word which in this sentence is laquelle because it's referring to a feminine noun, la chaise, meaning the chair. If the word a appears in front of lequel, it joins together with it, but only in the masculine and plural forms. So a plus lequel, which is the masculine singular, is auquel. So they join together and form auquel. A plus laquelle, which is the feminine singular, don't join together. You just say à laquelle, à laquelle. In the plural, they do join together. So in the masculine plural, we have a plus lesquels makes auquel, auquel. And a plus lesquels in the feminine plural becomes auquel. Let's have a look at some example sentences using a plus a form of lequel. The verb songer à means to dream about. If you want to say, the town I'm dreaming about, well, in French you'd have to say, the town about which I'm dreaming. La ville à laquelle je songe. La ville à laquelle je songe. So in English we use the preposition about with the verb to dream, but in French we use the preposition à. So la ville à laquelle je songe, the town I'm dreaming about, or literally, the town about which I'm dreaming. The verb participer à means to take part in. So in English we say to take part in French you say participer à. So if you wanted to say something like, find out the tournaments he's taking part in, well, you would have to rearrange it in English and say, find out the tournaments in which he's taking part. And then we can translate it into French. Découvrez les tournois auxquels il participe. Découvrez les tournois auxquels il participe. And then we've seen appartenir à. Appartenir à means to belong to. So if you wanted to say something like, I think this is the school he belongs to, you would have to say, I think this is the school to which he belongs. Je pense que ceci est l'école à laquelle il appartient. Je pense que ceci est l'école à laquelle il appartient. So literally, I think this is the school to which he belongs. And that brings us back to Édith Piaf's line, Voilà le portrait sans retouche de l'homme auquel j'appartiens. In English, we'd say something like, here is the unembellished portrait of the man whom I belong to. But it literally means in French, here is the unembellished portrait of the man to whom I belong. So, de l'homme, of the man, auquel, to whom, j'appartiens, I belong. So in English, we say sometimes to which, or if you're talking about a person, we say to whom. In French, it's always auquel. So auquel can mean to which or to whom. Here is the unembellished portrait of the man to which I belong, or the man to whom I belong. Voilà le portrait sans retouche de l'homme auquel j'appartiens. Here is the unembellished portrait of the man to whom I belong. So appartenir à means to belong to. For example, cette organisation à laquelle vous appartenez, c'est terrible. Cette organisation à laquelle vous appartenez, c'est terrible. This organization you belong to is terrible. Or literally, this organization to which you belong is terrible. Le chien m'appartient. Le chien m'appartient. The dog belongs to me. J'appartiens à un club de tennis. J'appartiens à un club de tennis. I belong to a tennis club. Le club auquel j'appartiens est à Marseille. Le club auquel j'appartiens est à Marseille. The club I belong to is in Marseille. Or literally, the club to which I belong is in Marseille.